At one point in my life, I was the master of one-pot meals. You know what? I didn't even need a pot. A bowl, some boiling water, and a packet of ramen was all I needed. I've come a long way since then. But some nights, there's nothing that satisfies like the ease, warmth, and rich, savory deliciousness of a one-pot meal. Oh, and there's almost no cleanup. My kind of meal.
Now I'm gonna make my creamed corn cheddar cheese ham pudding in my slow cooker. The ingredients are really easy. I have a lot of canned ingredients here, which I'm sure you can do this recipe. Creamed corn, regular corn out of a can. So I use just the classic ham that you can get at the store. It's whatever you like. But remember, when you're cutting something, especially something that needs to cook for at least 4 to 6 hours in a slow cooker like this, make them big enough to where they're not gonna shrink up or get too small or too crunchy. So I cut this about 1/2 to 3/4 inch slices. And as I slice, I go all the way through. So just like so. I got about 1.5 cups of cheddar cheese, and now we're gonna take all our wet ingredients. What's cool about this is you actually don't need a bowl. I'm gonna put all the wet ingredients in the bottom of the slow cooker, and then we're gonna mix it up, add the dries, set this for 4.5 hours on low, another 1.5 hours on high. Take the lid off for about 1/2 hour to just kind of let it settle, and you are done. You have a really great side or an entree at your house anytime. So what I wanna do is I wanna take my butter, I'm gonna add it right inside here. Melted butter goes right in. Remember, if you don't have cheddar, pepper jack's great. Some sour cream's gonna go in the bottom with our cream cheese, that's whipped cream cheese. Crack the egg right in. So we're getting all our wets mixed together first, and once the wets are together, then we'll add the dries, and this thing comes together pretty quickly. Add a little bit of milk in here. All the other wets, which is cream corn, canned corn. The liquid in the canned corn is actually part of the wet ingredients in this dish. So if you use fresh, we may have to add a little milk. It may be a little experimental, but go fresh if you like. The juice and the green chilies go in also. So we're gonna mix all these up. Last but not least, I have a little bit of oil here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add my cheese, which is about 1.5 cups of cheddar cheese. If you wanna go Spanish with this, there's queso fresco. If you wanna go Italian with this and put prosciutto in here with some Gruyere or some mozzarella and some sun-dried tomatoes, have fun with it. This is really a muse for you to build off of. Oh my goodness, I just thought about it. What about leftover Thanksgiving turkey or ham around the holidays? This would be a great place to put that too. All right, I've got baking powder, salt, sugar, flour, and some cornmeal. I'm gonna make sure that I mix the cheese in with the ham first. And take all my dries and mix it. This is fine cornmeal. The corn is just kind of like a binder, the cornmeal itself. A little bit of sugar to balance the fat. Salt to round the whole thing together. And baking powder to basically combine all the ingredients and give a little bit of leavening in right over the top. Look at that. All right, now we have our cornmeal mixture here. And remember, like with cornmeal, you can use, if you want to use grits, fine grits, you can go ahead and put that in there. If you want to use polenta, which is basically cornmeal, that's fine too. So, do a little spin on it, but I like the fine cornmeal with this because this is more like a pudding instead of a polenta. It's about that fold method. So I'm gonna go around the outside of the bowl, and I'm gonna go ahead and fold in my dry ingredients into this, just like so. That way, when you're folding in, you're not losing all the air. You wanna make sure that this is nice and light and fluffy. It's about 4.5 hours on low. Some slow cookers that I've worked with, I've learned that they have hot spots. So even an 1.5 hours into the cooking, what I'll do is I'll rotate it and flip it because this side gets really hot. So that way I'm kind of paying attention, I'm getting crusty edges all the way around. So 4.5 hours, 1.5 hours on high, take the lid off and kind of let it de-steam and relax, kind of like a little culinary yoga session. And then after you're done with that, you can refrigerate this. The longer it sets, honestly, the better it gets. You can serve it the next day, or you can serve it for dinner that night. Thanksgiving, Christmas, any holiday, or just a day with Y is good with this dish. Hello, look at that. What I love about this is it gets crunchy on the outside, and the inside part right here is kind of like a savory custard or like a brulee. Now this is super piping hot. The cool thing about this is if you actually let it set for a little while, take the lid off, let it set for a half an hour, it settles more, the cornmeal tightens up a little bit. It kind of, not even really a word, de-steams. But look here, here's the custardy part, which is really great, but it sets up. So you've got that great creamy corn texture right there, and it's all nice and gorgeous. This is hot and piping ready. So what I'm gonna do, I'll let that set for a minute. I'm gonna take some green onions. We're gonna garnish this. I'm gonna give a nice little freshness. So scallions, green onions, same thing. Depends on what state or what side of the country you're on. But at the end of the day, it's all in the same onion family. You can use spring onions if you want. And what I do is I just clean them up on the bottom. And this is like a little culinary term called on the bias. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the onions in my hand, just like so, as we've learned how to chop, and go like so. And I'm gonna make sure I get really nice, long cuts of green onions here. Fun, right? Delicious. So I'm gonna take some green onions, look at that. I like them because they're long, and they're not like big pieces that we're so used to on top of like a baked potato or something. So I'm gonna take these guys. Somebody has told me before, a good friend of mine, you can actually plant these and put some onions in your backyard. Save the bottoms, which you can cut a little bit more off, and plant them. So I'm gonna take this, make sure we get everything. Make sure you get the, oh my goodness, hello. I would eat this for breakfast. So look at that custard right there, the caramelization on the outside. And when you're in control in the kitchen, you can get the pieces that you like. If you're a crust person, look at all that. These little crunchy pieces of ham that have baked into the wall of the slow cooker, just like that. Take a spoon full of some sour cream. Trust me, there's some fat in here, so this is okay to add a little bit more. It's like adding lime juice or lemon juice to a taco, or like ceviche, how you need that brightness. That little bit of sour cream in here is gonna really kind of round this dish out. The freshness of some green onions, it just goes right over the top, just like so. Just a couple more. And you have probably one of my favorite nostalgic dishes that reminds me of home and family. This one's for you, Grandma Lena. I miss you, I love you, and thank you for the memories, because I think you guys can get it. You can do this dish too. This is my cream corn, ham, and cheddar cheese spoon bread, AKA pudding. All done in a slow cooker, all mixed in a slow cooker. It's simple, done, and tasty. I'm gonna dive into this. So we started with the savory. We're gonna roll into a sweet. I've got a pre-cored pineapple that I bought at the store that's already in the fridge. So now we have our pineapple done, let's build our cake. And when you build a cake, especially an upside down pineapple cake that's sweet, savory, salty, and delicious, like the one we're making right here, it starts with the base of a caramel. So I have our hot cast iron pan here. I'm gonna take 1 stick of butter. Now this is super hot. You wanna make sure that we bring our pan up to temperature. So I'm softly gonna introduce this amazing stick of butter into here and just gonna let it melt. I don't want brown butter, so I'm just gonna let it melt and go. And once it starts boiling like it's doing right there, I'm gonna add my brown sugar because we're making a caramel. I'm gonna add some granulated sugar to go right on top, just like so. Here's sesame oil. This is an Asian ingredient. This is usually on the savory side, but when you smell sesame oil, it has the aroma of like toasted nuts, and it really can go onto the sweet side as it really lends itself to the savory side. You see this right here? Look at the sugar getting caramelized on the bottom of the pan. That's the cast iron doing all the work that I really wanna see to make this beautiful, beautiful cake. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it down to where it's just holding its temp. And then how I finish is I just take a whisk to make sure that everything is together. And watch this. Yeah. I want that to be on the side because I need something that the cake doesn't stick to. It's really, really important. So now I'm gonna take my pineapple and I'll go ahead and cut my slices. 6 or 7, don't make them too big because you want them to kind of soak up the sauce. Love it. Now let's make our cake mixture. So I have some flour in here. I'm gonna add some sugar, baking powder, salt. You wanna make sure that all your dry mixtures, especially using salt and baking powder, are completely incorporated. 1 egg with shortening. This is butter extract. And make sure I incorporate that egg, that liquid butter extract inside there. This goes inside like that. Here's a trick that I always tell people, especially when making a cake, is you see a lot of people that move really quick and try to put it together. When you fold ingredients into a wet batter, it really allows it to be evenly distributed all the way from top to bottom. So what I mean by that is you can see how I put the wets in the middle? I want to turn the bowl and fold the wets into the dries. You wouldn't technically see me use one of these cherries, but you know what? It reminds me of Grandma and Grandma's cooking. So I'm gonna put some cherries in the middle of this pineapple. And now what you're gonna do is use a scoop and scoop this over each one. And that way you can make sure it goes all the way around. All right, we're there. This whole batter is mixed in. It takes about 45 minutes. If it takes a little bit more, just take a toothpick and just check. If you check right in the middle and it comes out clean, the cake is perfect. Look, everybody's oven's different. So I'm about 45 minutes at 350 degrees. We're gonna have an upside down pineapple cake in a cast iron pan. See you later. I can smell it. The upside down pineapple cake smells so good. I smell the brown sugar and the butter, but mostly, to tell you the truth, that sesame oil is really taking it over the top. Let's come down here. Oh yeah. The thing about this is, because of all that sugar, the cake gets really great, deep, rich colors on the top, which I'm really excited about. Okay, here's the thing. It's an upside down pineapple cake. Don't freak out. So what you're gonna do, you with me? We got this, right? I take my plate, I flip it over, I set it right on top. So once you put the plate over the top, what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a quick flip. Please come out. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, look at that. Look, if a little bit of the pieces right here stick on the bottom, it's completely okay. Just take your spatula and fill all little holes. Sorry for the eye roll. Take this to a party. You will be called every single day for the recipe. Just don't give them the sesame oil. So go here, let's slice through it. Take this little spatula here, my little offset, and look at this. It's almost like angel food cake. See how it's still nice and light and fluffy? But look at the caramelization, how it baked in the oven. But then you get the backside here, look. The caramel went through that side, so it's crunchy. The pineapple's all glazed. And you just grab this like so. And set it on our plate. All right, if you're like me, that you can't wait for it to cool down, it's completely fine. You can eat this hot, you can eat it cold. It's one of those cakes that's forgiving. The longer it sits, it can sit on a counter. It's kind of a nice brunch or late night kind of dinner kind of cake. But I'm gonna slice into this and make sure that I get all the flavors that we worked so hard on. I think I'm the biggest fan of not only the caramel on the bottom, but how the cake gets that almost like crunchy little, almost kind of burnt top. This is like angel food cake meets pineapple, meets caramel, meets Nana, which is on top of that little cherry. And the cherry, by the way, don't skip on the cherries, put 2 of them, because I wish I had another one. We have conquered and achieved the sweet and the savory and the sweet when it comes to the cast iron pan.
For all of today's great recipes, go to myblueprint.com.